last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinning.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running.
Sorry for what?
But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. So we have a lot of updates today, guys. I had a few to share with you to begin with, and now I just received word that Jaden has been found. So we've been talking about Jaden Spicer. He went missing out of Kentucky and they just found him, which is breaking news, and I don't know all of the details, but we're gonna definitely kind of figure it out together. And I got my other phone, so I was like, I better go look and see what's going on. Jaden Spicer, let me put Jaden up here. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to cover my mug up here because it doesn't really matter. This is the one that matters right here. This beautiful young boy in blue is Jaden Spicer. His father, stepfather, father figure, Joshua Gross, and his mother, Felicia Gross, had him in their care and custody, and they dropped the ball majorly. He was reported missing Jackson, Kentucky, August 5th, 2025. Right? So Breathitt County, 10-year-old boy, they've been searching for him for about a week now. And it seems to me like they found him. So that's the big major update here. And, you know, unfortunately, we've learned a lot about Jaden and what he's been through in his short life. He recently lost his grandmother, who was his caregiver, his primary caregiver. And then he ended up back with his mother, who has a very sketchy past involving child abuse. And so does Joshua Gross, his stepfather. as well as his biological father, who wasn't really in his life, so to speak. So, very interesting that they've found him. So let's see here. Sad update on Jaden Spicer today. Apparently his mother, Felicia Gross, has confessed to murdering him and burying him where the grandmother was buried. Came across the scanner. My God. My God. Oh boy. Let me pull this in, guys. And welcome in, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't do my normal intro. Day shows are going to be a little bit up in the air with me, just because just because I'm not used to it. You know, I'm definitely a creature of habit, and so I'm going to get better as we go. Promise. But this is, like I said, breaking news right now. My phone is literally blowing up right now. And this is from Kiki. Kiki, thank you so much, girl. I don't know what I would do without her sending me, this case with Jaden Spicer. I wasn't planning on covering his case, but I mean, I saw his beautiful little face, and I just thought to myself, let's do this. And Mom ended up was very knowledgeable on the case, and I was like, let's get it, girl. And oh, I was not expecting to read that, guys. I'm so sorry. So, sad update on Jaden Spicer today. Apparently his mother, Felicia Gross, has confessed to murdering him and burying him where the grandmother was buried. Came across the scanner as an in custody, taking them to the body now. Wow. Wow. I wonder what made her do the right thing. I wonder what made her do the right thing. I pray for everyone involved in this, his family, the aunts, everyone who has came across too. They'll be releasing a statement soon, right? So that was 46 minutes ago. And that came in through Kat Mullins. Absolutely awful, 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 awful. My goodness. I can't believe that. That is something else. Hey, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Hey, Prayer Warrior. Deanna, good to see you. Thanks for being here, guys. Yeah, it's so sad. It is so absolutely heartbreaking. So something must have happened to him. When I hear that she put him with his grandmother, that makes me wonder who hurt him. And that sounds like something that somebody who at least gave a damn would do. You know what I mean? Hey, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, oh my goodness, this is so sad. Shaking my head. I don't get how people could hurt their own child. I don't either, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. And, I'm wondering if maybe with the stepfather's history, we went over that last night. And, went to his Facebook from 2018. JLR did that. He did that, and I kind of cut up his live a little bit, and he has history of this. So I'm wondering if maybe he had something to do with it, or maybe the three boys who were in the house. Now, we had Lisa B. Always come up last night on panel, and she did an amazing job of kind of giving her opinions and thoughts and theories. And we were hypothesizing with Momming It Up, and Kiki came up last night, and we were just discussing all of the aspects of what could have happened here. And, I'm just wondering if something could have happened where maybe Mom wasn't really involved. It might have been, the men in the house, boys of the house. But then again, if she's confessed, to murdering him and then burying him, is what it says here. Still waiting for an official statement from what I'm hearing. But let me do a quick search and see if I can't get a quick update here. Jaden Spicer, missing in Kentucky. All right, 5 hours ago, guys. Oh, we got another 2 hours ago. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I'm just going to play this, so we'll have to just listen. I apologize. Hopefully it doesn't give us an ad. Oh, it's going to give us an ad. It's always homes.com. All right, hold on. We'll just turn that down for a second. My goodness. Yeah. Hey, Holly S. I know, right? This is awful. I just can't even believe it. I was not expecting to pull this in. I was going to go live earlier, but then I heard Betty was on and I go, oh my gosh, I got to go, catch Betty because she's talking about Sebastian. And I rarely get a chance to catch. But I was up early today because I wanted to do a live with you guys during the day. I'm going to work some of those in. But again, it's, getting everything in order. So, and getting used to it too. But here we go, guys. This is beautiful little Jaden. Oh my God. I can't believe it. Okay, this is not, sorry, I wanted to hear that really quick. It is not, that's not an proper update. Still looking for him, this one says. So it doesn't look like I have anything new besides this. Search underway for Kentucky 10-year-old. So no, that's not it. It doesn't look like the police have made it an official statement. Yeah, and I mean, we know that he started living with his mother recently. It is so sad. Hey, Detroit. Yeah, it's so sad. Absolutely sad. And it just makes you wonder what in the world happened here. I mean, obviously, not the greatest track record, right? I mean, well, and thank you, Holly S. says, I guess it's about time a parent confessed and didn't just hide. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I would think the guilt would eat you up, as a person, and I don't know if that's because, I grew up with the guilt, I grew up with like a lot of guilt. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? It was like, you felt remorse for the things that you did. And especially if you didn't mean to do it, right? Like it was an accident or something. But, there's a lot of reasons why people will just, murder in cold blood too. So, and with her confessing, there may not be a trial. It might be another plea deal coming for us. If the parents don't want them, Deanna says, give them up to someone that will love them and care for them. Geez. Well, and that's it, Deanna. I agree. I mean, it's absolutely sad that there's so many parents out there or people who want to be parents, because some parents are, they have one child and they decide I'm going to adopt or whatever, and they make it really difficult. But, I was watching a case actually out in Detroit, Rock City. You might know this one, but it was there were children living in a tent beside a house. So they were able to like go into the house to use the bathroom, but the babies were like ate up with, I almost said fleas. My goodness. People don't get fleas. Lice, had lice all over, and they weren't showering and things like that. I mean, they had a space heater and a mattress, and they were literally living in a tent, and it's so cold up north. I mean, I can't imagine living in a tent in Chicago, let alone with kids or anything like that. But they did get these kids some resources, but it was a systematic fail with CPS. And one of the officers that was called to the scene originally had been working with this family for 3 years, and they were living in the tent that whole entire time. And then he found them living in a car. But and the mother seemingly had health issues. So, I don't want to shame her because, I mean, obviously she was doing, I guess, the best that she could, but they didn't want to the kids, and separate the family, which, I understand that too. But it's very difficult. It's just a shame, It's like, what's the right answer? The kids are the ones who suffer the most, in my opinion. And I don't think that you have to have a bunch of money to, love your children or anything. So I don't want to, shame anybody who is going through poverty, because that's temporary. You know, that can be changed. You can go to a career center. You could, take some classes. There's Pell Grants. There's all kinds of things that you can do to better your situation. But it's so difficult for a single mom because you need childcare, and that's very expensive, especially because you can't trust people to be good to your kids. You know, if you're not paying them well enough, it's very sad. It's kind of a it's quite the predicament that we find ourselves in society. But, I guess my point is that the kids are who really matter. And if you see someone living like that, get them the resources. And if you don't want your children, make the call to CPS. But sometimes it's just too late. Sometimes it's just too late for that. Prayer Warrior says, Holly S., I agree. At least she didn't try to run this out. I do appreciate her confession. Absolutely. I think it goes a long way, doesn't it, Prayer Warrior? I think that's such a good point, too. We appreciate people for telling the truth, and recognizing. And, I think that's because of accountability that's demanded by the public. And, we were talking about that earlier just now in Bullhorn Betty's chat. Accountability for the public to come and say, look, we need you to do something about this. This cannot continue. Sebastian's been missing for too long. And there's a couple of things, that I had seen in the chat. I'm going to reach out to Betty and some of the other creators that I know and see what we can do. There's got to be something that we can do. Hats off to the girls or guys or whoever it was at McDonald's that held Felicia accountable. That is an act of love, folks. That is not something that is mean-spirited. It's an act of love, really. I mean, as long as you're not sitting there, you damn murderer or whatever, and accusing people before before they've confessed. But I mean, yeah, you're coming here to get burgers and your kid's missing. Go find your kid. Are you hungry because you were searching, or are you just, going about your business? I mean, hell yeah. That's her community saying, hey, sister, where's this little kid that, like Maman was saying last night, it takes a village. Where's the village? The village is holding her ass accountable up at the McDonald's, So, it's sad, huh, Detroit? I was thinking, I don't remember. It was like up by Toledo, I think, or, I don't know if Kentucky has the DP or not, Deanna. That's a good question. It's very possible that they do. I think when someone is in a position of trust, I think they should be held extra harshly, in my opinion, because especially when we look at these children and the way they look at their parents, they look to them for guidance, for love, for acceptance. It's not fair. That's like the biggest betrayal I've ever heard of, is somebody betraying their child's trust, And I mean, there's times when we let each other down. We all let each other down, We all do. It's inevitable. It's inevitably going to happen if you're, know somebody long enough, you're in a relationship long enough. There's going to be a time where you let somebody down. But to betray somebody like that is absolutely awful, especially a child, Hey, Seclusion Works. Drive safe, hon. Thanks for being here. And welcome in, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I know it's a weird time for me to be on, so I appreciate you guys. And plus, I thought I'd be a little bit earlier, but I'm glad I stopped over because, you know, a lot of things, especially just in life in general, require a lot of us to come together and to support each other. You know what I mean? And when I see really great creators out there doing research and trying to make a difference, I'm all there for it. You know, I mean, that's where I want to be. I don't want to be anywhere else other than there. You know, those are the people I would like to network with and you know, bounce ideas off of. And, you know, that's the only way that we can accomplish something as large as we're facing in the Sebastian Rogers case, in my opinion. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to come together because we're you know, it's kind of David and Goliath, right? People are set in their ways. That's their community. I understand a lot of those dynamics and feelings. Hey, Sammy G. So it's just something that we're going to have to really put our heads together and figure out how we can do it. But I know we can do it. That's the thing that's really cool about that is I know we can do it. I'm not worried about can we. I'm just wondering about how are we going to, right? But I know we can, and we have to do it. You know, and in the words of Yoda, there is no try, only do. But like we're not even seeing them try. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're not trying. They're just not. And then we see that, you know, this beautiful little boy, Jaden. I mean, I just can't believe it, guys. I can't believe there was a confession here. I really can't. I can't believe it. And, you know, it remains to be seen on what's going to transpire, what happened here. We'll have to see how it plays out. And again, I think there's a lot to be said about someone that will admit when they've done something wrong and not put the public through any more personal anguish and stuff, because it is sad. Like, you know, the resources that are given out to Jaden could have been given out to someone else. And the whole time his mother knew exactly where he was. Right. And I think that it's important to look at this case and compare it to Sebastian's case. Now, they're all unique. I'm not minimizing Jaden. I'm not minimizing Sebastian. I would never do that to these kids because they deserve better. And in my opinion, these kids were failed. And I don't want to fail them too. That's the last thing I'd want to do. But I mean, look at the way that these two acted. They weren't going out in front of the cameras to plead for Jaden's safe return. They were hiding out, like Holly said. You know, they just decided to come out and, you know, thank God, tell some semblance of the truth. Maybe she actually has a conscience. Oh, Seclusion Works. We're talking about Jaden Spicer. Apparently there was a confession made by his mother, Felicia Gross, and she said that she took his life and then took him and buried him near his grandmother who had just passed away. I think she passed away a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Probably would be more like 3 now. You know, and it's sad because that was his caregiver, was his grandma. He was with her and, you know, doing good with her, and then she passed away unexpectedly, in my opinion, from what I've heard. Which is absolutely sad for him. And then his aunt had, Seclusion. And, you know, his aunt had custody of his two sisters and Jaden. But Jaden was a very rambunctious boy, according to the aunt, and he was a lot to handle. And so they decided to give him to his mother, his biological mother, Felicia. Now she's married to this guy named Joshua Gross, and he has a history of child abuse, and so does she. And unfortunately, it seems like that environment was really bad for Jaden, obviously. But there was also 3 boys in the house, so it's still kind of hazy on what happened. But the statement that was released is a sad update on Jaden Spicer today. Apparently, his mother, Felicia Gross, has confessed to murdering him and burying him where the grandmother was buried. Came across the scanner as in custody, taking them to the body now. And it says, I pray for everyone involved in this family, the aunts, everyone who has come across too. They'll be releasing a statement soon. So that's the statement we have, but nothing confirmed through law enforcement just yet. This is it sounds like it kind of got leaked out. Somebody heard this over the scanner and, reported it to the masses here, to all of us, Yeah, I know. Seclusion, it's so terrible. And they've been looking for him for about a week. And, his mama she wasn't being honest at first. She wouldn't come out and speak. She only gave a handwritten letter. Now, within this handwritten letter, she wrote the words, do the right thing. And in my opinion, that may have been a little bit of projection coming out. I was wondering if she thought maybe, or she was trying to make the public think that someone took him. By saying that statement, it can kind of be taken in a couple of different ways. But, again, it's just reminds me of Chris and Katie Proudfoot. I mean, they didn't come out and talk for a week either. They didn't confess when they came out and talked, but they might as well have, because the minute that the public heard the Duchess for the missing interview or the interview with Holly Thompson, in my opinion, that really made people side-eye the Proudfoots. It really, even though they thought they did really good at manipulating and convincing us that they were innocent, they failed miserably, in my opinion. Hey, Ann Reynolds, good to see you. So, it's just similar circumstances with a different outcome. And again, I really have to applaud the public pressure, the people that were keeping Jaden's story out there, the people that were listening to it, right? Because we couldn't have the kind of success with viewership or awareness on these cases if it wasn't for people like you who want to listen. If we weren't getting views and things like that, we would try to cover a case that would, right? Because that's just kind of what we do, as trying to bring the best information to you guys. But if you weren't interested in it, then it would make it difficult for us to bring awareness, So, and I mean, there's so many cases out there. Look, Harmony Montgomery, guys, this was the other update that I had for you guys today. Harmony Montgomery was killed by her father, Adam Montgomery. He beat her to death in a car they were living in because Harmony had an accident, because they had no bathroom in the car, and she was just a little tiny girl. She was only 6 years old. Now, she's still missing. And Adam Montgomery, I found out at 7 o'clock this morning, is asking for his murder conviction to be overturned. Like the panty waist that he is. They actually gave this asshole an option last year. And they told him, if you tell us where Harmony is, we will in exchange give you a lighter sentence. But he refused to. He refused to give her location up where he put her. I know, Harmony, right? Seclusion, my lord. And, you know, it's so unfortunate. She could have been with her brother Jameson. The two men that are raising Jameson and actually adopted him would have been happy to have Harmony. But the Manchester courts really screwed the pooch. And unfortunately, you know, settled out of court. Settled, I should say, not out of court, but they did settle, and gave her mother, in my opinion, peanuts for Harmony's life. You know, I mean, you give this guy with a teardrop tattoo custody of a little girl and you expect it to be okay. CPS was also involved, of course. But they did very little, in my opinion, to help. Harmony's own uncle, Adam's own uncle, excuse me, it would have been maybe her great uncle, had reported Adam for giving Harmony a shiner. And he said it was completely black like a raccoon. And when asked what happened, he told his uncle that he bashed Harmony around the effing house. Now, every time I see that smug smile on his face or him sticking his nasty old tongue out, I just want to bash him around if I was strong enough to do so. But, you know, he's a man and I'm not, so. But I'd like to bash his ass around, yes. Seclusion, I just dropped about 20 of them. Excuse my language, but hell no. Seclusion work says for his reversal, if I could get away with it, I would. Prep him with serum. Yeah, I know. I'm telling you. I mean, here's the thing. You know, they give this outlandish, in my opinion, account of what happened to Harmony after he took her life, right? Like in terms of how they were able to dispose of her, because she's somewhere, right? We all remain. We have remains. Where it's not like we just poof or anything, or, you know, somebody could unalive us and, you know, get rid of all of the evidence. That's very difficult to do. I know that it happens from time to time in extreme circumstances, but many, many, many times there's still like even little bone fragments that are found, right? Like in the case of Stephen Avery, Making a Murderer, they did 2 series on Making a Murderer. Then Candace Owens did one calling it something else. They were all very good documentaries, you know, true crime genre, of course. But when Stephen Avery was being blamed for this, they did find small pieces of bone fragment of the woman who they believed that he had, you know, raped and taken her life, right? And so even that tiny, tiny little bit, we also saw this in the Quentin Simon case. I mean, teeny tiny little guy, right? And he's in this big landfill, and they got the grates out, and they're trying to find pieces of him. Absolutely sad. You know, absolutely sad. Oakley Carlson's mom is either released or waiting for a room in a halfway house. Still no charges for Oakley, in my opinion. Wow, really? Did they just say it was all right? I'm not as familiar, Prayer Warrior. Thank you for sharing that. So is that a something where they're telling her it's okay because she was under the influence of something? Because I don't think there's enough booze on the planet to make me do something crazy like that. Maybe other substances, I don't know. Absolutely, Holly, yes, that's a monster. It's a monster. Yeah, I agree. Because we can't even fathom how awful. No one would miss 10 seconds of something from the vault. Hey, Kai, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Ann says, I don't know that they were on. I'm on my way home from grocery shopping. Oh, yeah. Well, Ann, I'm trying to do a couple of shows during the day, through the week. Teresa Hallbuck, thank you. Seclusion works, because I was trying to get her name and I wanted to call her something else, but with a T, but it wasn't it wasn't Teresa. But yes, Teresa Hallbuck, yes. She was a photographer for Auto Trader and among other things. Hey Cinderelli, and yes, and she had to go to the Avery residence because they own this huge junkyard, right? And like a lot of people thought that Stephen Avery was wrongfully convicted, and then he did get out of jail, and it was a big thing. Netflix did a couple of documentaries. Hey Canadian True Crime, good to see you. But yeah, I kind of want to do an ensemble during the day of just different things. And I also downloaded some news bloopers for us to watch just to kind of lighten the mood up today. And then all of these updates I wasn't expecting. You know, I know what they did to her seclusion. Well, and I've worked at a pizza place. It was one of my first waitressing jobs. And I'm here to tell you, if there was something in our walk-in that didn't belong in there, I would imagine one of us would have. I mean, I just can't believe some of it is so outlandish, in my opinion. Not only that, the smell of decomposition and things like that, but he just will not give up her location. He taunted the Manchester police. He's just a real piece of garbage. Like I don't even know if garbage is as bad as he is. I think he's worse than garbage. You've been watching the Facebook regarding Jaden. Yeah, that's what I mean. Breaking news. As soon as I got on live and I was doing the intro, I was getting text messages. So yeah, and I understand. I think Justin is on too with the update. And I was going to come up and talk Harmony Montgomery case a little bit, just kind of go over that with you guys. And then watch something funny, which I still have that, Yeah, Holly S. has agreed. Adam's like subhuman. Yeah, like he is such, and he also is an attention, whore too, because he, looks right into the camera, you know what I mean? And like, he's just, very pompous, and he likes to inflict harm on others and watch you squirm. He's one of those real sick people, Exactly. Seclusion says once you smell decomp, you will never forget it. Yeah, it's absolutely like the strongest smell. It really is. It really is. And it's very identifiable. Like you said, once you know it, you know it. It's kind of like equivalent, not equivalent to, but an example would be like a dirty diaper, like once you smell what a dirty diaper smells like, you're like, you don't forget it. The official announcement should come in soon. Yeah, I'm waiting for it. And I'm, of course, going to still do my night show, but I wanted to pop on and just try it out for the day, because I know we did a day show before and it really pulled in a lot of people too. So, and like I said, I kind of want to work in just some, different shows where we can do current events or breaking news. A lot of things break during the day. And I'm glad I was up early enough today and kind of, forced myself to lie down and go to sleep last night. So, Adam's demeanor totally sets me off. Seclusion works. Absolutely. He has no right to that arrogance. No, he doesn't. And he doesn't have any right to hold it over anyone's head, especially when he's the monster, in my opinion. Yeah, really well said. Couponing. Hey, couponing. Yes, he mentioned that a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, it's so sad, couponing. I'm like, I can't believe that that was the outcome. I honestly was not expecting his mother to say that she was the one that murdered him. I really wasn't. I was thinking it was more maybe the stepdad or possibly the boys, not to blame the kids, and but I was just kind of thinking that way. Because Jaden was new to the house, and I don't think that they had bonded, any of them with Jaden. But, I think that she probably realized that they were closing, like people were closing in, because even last night we were talking about the case, and I said, they live in a small trailer, right? Now, I'm not knocking anybody who lives in a trailer. I live in a small trailer, but um, we were talking about how you can hear everything. So like if the boys were in there, sleeping, there's 3 boys already. Add Jaden, there's 4. It's maybe a maybe a 3-bedroom, but I'm thinking maybe a 2. So that means kids are bunking up with each other. So somebody had to have heard him leave in the middle of the night. And guys, I just have to reiterate. It's just like Sebastian Rogers. He went to bed at 9 o'clock and then he poof vanished in the middle of the night. Seclusion, I second, your language. Oh, hell no. Hell to the no. There's no way, right? Somebody knows something. Now, Katie Proudfoot was the last one in the house with Sebastian. Where are you at, law enforcement? Where are you at? Reminder, none of the windows were unlocked. All the doors were locked and nothing was tampered with. On top of that, Sebastian was not picked up on any Ring camera footage, Nest footage, no footage in the neighborhood. You know what was caught on tape though? 2 mysterious lights at 3 a.m. One comes from the Proudfoot residence, meets with the other light source near the street, and then the other one goes back to the house. And the only one left in the house is Katie. Guys, I'm horrible at math, especially word problems. But even I could figure that one out. Like lickety split, Like give me a hard one. And I'm horrible at math. Horrible. So it's just, again, quoting Dr. Gary, don't insult my intelligence. Kai Kai says, I would love to be alone in a room with all of these mothers, stepdads, fathers, and they have done the unthinkable to their precious children. I know I could never be an actual detective where I would question these people, because I'd stick my foot out and accidentally trip them or something. I'm telling you, I do not have that level of self-control. I don't. It's better that I don't, I stay out of that situation and just talk about it up here, because I wouldn't, and then they they'll get off on it because I lost my cool, But yeah, it's just too much, because you just know. I'll never forget the body cam footage for Chad Dorman. I mean, that cop was really trying hard. He's like, would you just shut up or something like that already? Or, said something to him. But I could tell that guy was tap dancing all over that cop's last nerves. Could you imagine pulling up to a scene where you have these beautiful little boys in the yard and their dad took their lives? I mean, oh my. Kai says, yes, me too. Those of us who have lost a child, or in my case, 2 children, this truly drives you insane. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that, and I can only imagine the level of frustration, and especially when, I'm assuming you didn't have anything to do with, Kai, of course, but I'm just saying, and then you see the parents that do, or that are confessing to it, or that are acting like they need to make a confession, Chris and Katie, my opinion. It's maddening. And, shout out to all the angel moms out there. It should never happen. It just should never happen. Those are, some of the things that I just don't understand in life, and I don't think I ever will. Maybe one day when when I'm enlightened, but I don't know. I just no. Seclusion works as a survivor of child abuse. My heart breaks knowing little Jaden went through that in the last moments, or in his last moments, excuse me. Yeah, seclusion. That's where I'm at with everything. I'm just wondering how little Jaden felt, right? Like, just putting myself into his shoes and thinking, gosh, you just lost your grandma, who that was your safe person. That was, someone that took care of you. And then you're shipped off to live with your mom, and something awful like this happens. Because if you think about it from little Jaden's perspective, he has 2 other sisters, and his mother went off and left those kids with her mother, or great grandmother. And, here's mom that has 3 boys, and she's been raising them just fine. And I just can't imagine the psychological damage that could do to a little boy at 10 years old. I mean, he's damn well old enough to understand. Kids are so much smarter than we give them credit for. Lisa B always talked about how kids are sponges last night. And I've always said that. They are. It's like they absorb everything. Like if you're going to learn a language, learn it when you're, just 2 years old, I mean, learn it young, because it'll stick with you, more than if you learn it when you're in high school. I never did understand why they had us taking second languages in high school, when really we could have absorbed it so much better in grade school, or even, when you're really, really little. Yeah, absolutely, Seclusion. You're more than welcome to do that. Yeah, Seclusion says, someday, lady, I would like to present my theory on Sebastian. Yeah, and that night. Yeah, absolutely. I was working on something too. I still am. It's just I want to kind of take it maybe a little bit slower. But that doesn't mean I've abandoned it or anything like that. I really appreciate everybody's feedback when it comes to theories, because we just don't know. Aw, thank you, Kai Kai, for saying that. I'm deeply sorry for what you went through. Seclusion, sending you warm and gentle hug and love. Aw, that's so sweet. Yeah, and we have so many compassionate people, guys. We do. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Seclusion says, I moved past it and I broke the cycle. If anything, it made me very ambitious. Excuse me. Yeah. And, it does. It makes you stronger. It makes you more keen to things. It sets off your spidey senses more, because, you've been through it before. You recognize it. Show Poodle says, late, but hello, everyone listening while working. Oh, Show Poodles, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, I know. It's hard to even state what he must have felt. I mean, so much to even consider, in terms of what he was going through. And so it makes it really difficult. Just when we're thinking about, what the aunt was feeling, because we talked about that too last night, and I don't want to bash anybody. I mean, at least she had the wherewithal to know. I just wish that she would have chosen a better caretaker for him, or in the interim, at least let somebody know, so that maybe a social worker could have made a trip over, evaluated the family, maybe got them some resources. I really think that that's something that's really important. Now, the tough part is, guys, and I'm a firm believer of this, that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, So it's just like if I was to tell my good friend, hey, I think that, you know, you're in a dangerous situation. I think that you're being abused. And she might tell me, you know, or he, I know it happens to guys too, but guys, I'm a female, you know, so that's my experience. But, you know, she might say to me, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And she might get really, really angry with me, right? And she doesn't want to have nothing to do with me anymore because she knows that I know that she's going through it and she's embarrassed and she doesn't want to admit. Sometimes it's very hard, especially like if you have strong religious beliefs and things like that and you really believe in marriage, you think, you know, you want to work it out. But again, if you're the only one working it out, it's not going to work. You know, but I mean, if I go to my friend and I say, hey, I think that you could really use these resources because you really need to get out of this relationship. It is very, very bad for you. And she says, okay, what do I do? Who do I call? You know, how do I get this taken care of? You know, that's the only way that I can help. I can help all day, but that person has to make the decision to help themselves. And that's so hard. That is so hard. And it's really commendable when somebody takes the steps to do that. You know, Kai says both of my adult children, daughter age 26 at the time, was gang and left to, oh my goodness, oh man. 2 years later, our firstborn child, our son at 36 at the time, died by suicide. He spiraled down into a deep depression. Oh my goodness. Kai, I'm so sorry. A deep black hole of depression, both very tragic deaths. It is 13 years that Ashley died and 11 years that my Christopher died. Never ever gets any easier. I agree. I agree with that. I don't only because of losing people that are close to me, but I can't imagine that happening to my children, you know, or my child. I have one child. My Lord. And depression is so tough too, because again, you want to help the person, but if they're so deep into it, it can be a black hole. It absolutely can be a black hole. I am so sorry. I am so sorry to hear that, honey. Thank you, Show Poodles. Yeah, oh my gosh. And you know, Lori Page, Holly S. says Lori Page took 3 years to solve, but I think they had a body. Yeah, and that's another thing in Sebastian's case. I know they've been talking about that. I just think that the law enforcement needs to put the heat on. You know, they do. They need to put the heat on. Thank you, guys. Holly says, I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you, Detroit. Yeah, though that's another thing too. You know, seclusion, and it is something that can really help. You know, she says, or you intervene covertly, move the victim to a safe spot. Yeah, because I mean that's the most dangerous time too. You know, because people say just leave. It's like it's so easy. It's not, because once they realize that you're gone, they're gonna come looking for you. You know, because they're not done yet. You know, and you know that in these relationships, when somebody is, you know, has obsessive behavior, they use coercive control. They don't look at you as a person. You know, they think they're your property, or that you're their property. Excuse me. Thank you, Deanna. This is one of the reasons I have such disdain for Craddock. I know. Oh, absolutely. And because that's my biggest problem too, I think, is because I think of when a victim has to go and speak to someone like him who downplays, minimizes, and really basically poops all over uh, somebody's feelings, what they've gone through, their experience. What a traumatic situation, you know? And what a disgusting bunch of people that would be involved in something like that. You know, those are the things that stick with people for the rest of their life. It doesn't go away. It sticks with you because it's got to be a terrifying situation, you know. And again, I'm the first one to say, you know, women trying to overpower a man, that's not going to happen. It's not. It's no contest. It's like, you know, David and Goliath. Oh, Prayer Warrior says the current case of Giovanni is so heartbreaking. With the last text for me as a parent, can you imagine seeing that when waking up? I'm not as familiar with that one, Prayer Warrior. I'm not sure what the text said. Text for his mom. He texted his mom then. Oh, Holly S. Oh my goodness. Says my good friend's son just took his life about 3 weeks ago. Seemed happy and successful, and my friend is so distraught. He had a heart attack. Oh my goodness, and was let out today. Oh, Holly, I'm so glad to hear that he was let out, but oh my gosh. You know, and that's the thing too. Nobody knows really. You can't just look at a person and say, you know, that person's got it all figured out, because we don't know like what their level of anxiety is. You know, and many of us put on a game face, right? It's like game face, right? You're around other people, dry it up, don't cry, you know, put your smile on, you know, and it's extremely difficult, in my opinion, too, when it comes to men, because they are the ones that are supposed to keep everything inside, right? And they're not supposed to share how they feel, and that can really they can harm someone. I mean, men are people too. Men are human beings, you know? And so when I hear something like that, it makes me so sad. I'm so sorry. Because, yeah, I mean, again, you know, we don't want to let anybody down. You know, it can be a lot to carry. Kai Kai says, all of you ladies are so kind. Thank you so much. Much love to all. You are too, and we're happy to have you. And, you know, I so appreciate people who will share their story, you know, with us, because you just never know who's listening. You know, you never know who's in the bushes who might have needed to hear that, or who also has gone through that. And, you know, knowing that they're not alone, that they're not the only ones, you know, is so important for all of us as human beings to know that and to feel connected. Good evening, Gigi. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Yeah, the official announcement is on Facebook about Jaden. Okay, let me look. I do have Facebook on this one. Let me see. Okay, this is 12 minutes. Okay, yeah. Samantha Brunty says, please, prayers for my family and I. Rest in peace, Jaden. Right? And Samantha Brunty is the is the aunt, right? that had custody, and she's going to be the one that is in the gray Kentucky t-shirt with the blue writing on it. Breathitt County 2 minutes ago. Authorities have confirmed the tragic discovery of the body of 10-year-old Jaden Spicer, bringing a heartbreaking end to the days-long search in Jackson, Kentucky. Jaden was reported missing on the morning of Wednesday, August 6th, after he was last seen at his mother's residence on Panbull Branch Road around 9 p.m. Tuesday. Sources within the community have made unconfirmed claims that Jaden's mother, Felicia Spicer, also known as Felicia Gross, may have confessed to involvement in his death. So that was from channel2now.com. So still not confirmed that she confessed. However, now that was just 2 minutes ago. "14 minutes ago, Abby Blabby, True Crime and News." I'll have to follow her. I like that name. It has been confirmed by family that 10-year-old Jaden Spicer has passed. This is such a tragic ending. His mother is allegedly in custody. And then it gives the backstory, which we know. But yeah, I wonder if police are going to come out and do a press conference, guys. I'm really wondering. But yeah, Samantha Brunty just posted to pray for her family. 1 minute ago, meteorologist Jim Caldwell. Information is slowly coming out about Jaden Spicer. The search for missing Breathitt County child has ended tragically. The family of 10-year-old Jaden Spicer has confirmed that his body was recovered on Tuesday. Jaden Spicer was last seen at his home on Panbull Branch Road near Jackson in Breathitt County on August 5th. Just heartbreaking. This from Timothy Hutchinson. Jaden Spicer update. Sadly, now the aunt has officially posted. I can relay here. The aunt has posted, "Please pray for my family and I. Rest in peace, Jaden." 10-year-old Jaden Spicer's body has been found. More details to be released over time. My heart has broken as I broke into tears on a call while getting this information. My thoughts and prayers are with those close to him and my hometown community. This has hit me hard. May God bring justice for this little guy. Oh, boy. And we'll have updates tonight, guys, on the Late Show. We will. Oh, boy. What a horrible, horrible thing. Thank you so much, guys, for letting me know, too. Thanks, Kai Kai. I really appreciate you, girl, because... Ooh. Oh, rush hour. Uh-oh. I know how that is. Deanna says, "My oldest son, 47, had a vehicular accident at a couple of nights ago. He's okay, thank God." Oh, great, Deanna. I nearly lost my mind with worry. Well, yeah, it's scary because, vehicle accidents can be, you could really get hurt or worse. I'm so glad he's okay. Oh, my goodness. But they're always your baby, right, Deanna? Always our baby. Holly S. says, "Prayer, I can't with Giovanni. He looks identical to my daughter's boyfriend and I don't even watch it. It's so upsetting." I'm like that too, Holly S. It was hard for me to watch Idaho 4 because my daughter was in college and at that time as well. It was heartbreaking to watch. If Riley Strain hadn't have been from Springfield, Missouri, I wouldn't have probably been able to handle it either, because they actually were graduating the same time. You know, thanks, Gigi. Lady, you can if you know how to strike. Winks. Seclusion. Oh, he texts his mom to help me. Oh, prayer warrior. Giovanni texts his mom, help me. Oh my God. And he is a handsome kid, I'll tell you. Yeah, he definitely had his game face on. Wife recently had a baby. Oh my goodness. Oh. Hell yes. Oh my goodness. My prayers are with her. Oh. Oh, Deanna, I am very sorry about your son's accident. I'm so thankful that he escaped any major injuries. Yeah, because, I mean, gosh, it could be so serious. So much heartbreak, twists and turns. Good to see you. Much love to you, too. Golly. Very unexpected. So, like, the one news clip said from, article said from Tuesday. So that's today. I just had to double check that. I don't know why I had a little bit of a brain fart there, but absolutely, Holly S. Kai, you're a survivor. Yes. See, that's what I heard too, twists and turns. Apparently Felicia is on her way showing them where his body is. Yeah, because that's what, is my understanding too. Like they, they have her in custody and she's taking them to show them. And when you have that, I could see her probably doing the plea, taking a plea deal. Fly high, Jaden. Thank you, Holly S. Oh my goodness, he's just so precious. Like, look at his little self. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it, guys. I really, it's like, it's hard to wrap our minds around it. I know a lot of you feel the same. Yeah, thanks, Deanna. I mean, oh my gosh, it's just unbelievably sad. Oh, Seclusion, you're gonna make me cry more. Spread your wings, little guy. God certainly will welcome you, little one. And I think that God does protect children. Well, it makes you wonder. Holly S. says it seems like parents have less and less patience these days. Gosh, it's like, hey, when we were little, we didn't know everything. We had to learn, We had to learn. And people gave us the opportunity to learn, Well, some of them didn't if we've gone through, bad times when we were kids. I wish I knew how to curse in Quebec. And I probably said it the wrong way. Seclusion. Cinderella says, I just want all these kids to come to my house. I'm praying their unalivers are punished to the greatest extent of the law. Yeah, I know. I was thinking that myself today. I was like, I wish I had $1 million, which I know is not a lot of money, but I would spend it very well. There's got to be resources locally that people can reach out. I can't handle this little one. They're driving me bonkers, right? And I just think it does take more patience, Holly S. As a mom, just understanding that they're little, they don't know any better. They're not doing anything. Kids are not being facetious or vindictive. They're not. They're learning, right? I mean, I used to think it was funny to pull pranks on people too until I grew up. I mean, I realized it's not that funny. I mean, it's not really that, very nice to do to people. I mean, little things like that, but that's like nothing that's, harmful. But it's like, yeah, kids don't hold that type of a malice unless they've learned it somewhere, in my opinion, or unless they're highly traumatized, because a lot of that stuff comes from fear. Um, that's fantastic. And see, the support system is so important. We need each other. Hey, Mama Bear. Mama Bear says, my baby boy, who will be 29 in October, is an inactive addiction, living homeless in the streets of Lancaster, PA. Oh, Mama Bear. Always afraid and wondering if LE will come and knock on the door and tell me he's passed. Oh, Mama Bear. I'm so sorry, honey. And I don't know how to help people if they don't want to be helped. That's the hardest part, isn't it? Golly. That's what I was kind of saying about this mama here. I could see her turning her life around, but now, my Lord, I mean, there's no turning back from this. Hey, Lori. It's so sad, isn't it? Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. And there's so many things in this life too that can cause somebody to be traumatized, and self-medicating and things like that. You know what I mean? Cinderella. Alcohol can be just as bad. Even though it's legal and stuff like that, you probably won't get put in jail unless you drive or something. But I mean, you know, people be on Skid Row, because they drink themselves there, it's easier to self-medicate sometimes. I'm going to be praying for you, Mama Bear. And you too, Cinderella. And I know a lot of you guys too, the moms out there, it's like we would do anything to help our kids. Anything. Prayer Warrior says, something I've noticed recently, parents are getting creative in their abuse nowadays, using alternative ways of discipline. It's so shocking and sad. I agree with this completely, Prayer Warrior. And subtle abuse can be like almost maddening, in my opinion, because if you think about it, like, obviously if somebody leaves marks on you, people can see that. But if you can't see the marks, then it's a little bit harder to identify. And that can be really, really hard, right? Because they could say, oh yeah, that it's just discipline. But I mean, like, even starving the kids or, mistreating them, in any way. Yeah, I agree. They are getting more creative so they can hide it, and then justify it as discipline, which it's not, obviously. Prayer Warrior says, Mama Bear, if you pray constantly. My ex-hero addicted daughter is living clean with her beautiful family. 10 years ago, she was on the streets. Anything's possible. Prayer Warrior, thank you for that too. And I'm so happy to hear that, I mean, it's never too late. It's just never too late to change, and change for the better. I believe that. That is so true. That is so true. Little ones are literally vessels that need to be taught, and you don't beat them. It teaches nothing. Exactly. And especially like when I look at Sebastian Rogers' case, I really think that that was the goal of, Stepfoot. It was like, well, if he doesn't need therapies or whatever, he needs to be disciplined. No, not true. Not your place. And I agree with you on that. And I mean, they're going to do what they're taught, and that's all it teaches them is to do that. And you can't, if you don't like something your coworker says or your boss says, you're not able to just go over and put hands on them. So the same goes for life. You have to learn coping skills excuse me, in order to function properly, right? And be, a well-adjusted member of society. We've all had a boss or two that we would really like to, hand it to them, right? But I mean, you just can't do that. You know. That's so funny. Show Poodles. The seclusion works. My best friend forever is Cajun French, which I cannot speak, but I know all of the cursey words. Those are always the best words to learn. Show Poodles. Plus, it sounds so much prettier in other languages, right? Cinderella says you have to keep their little brains active with positive reinforcement. Exactly. Yeah, and show them like it's better to do right and then good things happen, right? Because that's easy to learn. And if you do bad, then of course there's consequences for that too. But you have to praise, you have to incentivize. I agree. I agree with that completely. It's so important. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. I mean, really, seclusion works as my neighbor, or excuse me, my nephew dumped a bottle of lotion on the carpet. Instead of being mad, I burst into laughter, made him uh, clean it up, and his mother wanted to beat him. Well, and see, that's the thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world that there was some lotion on the carpet. Yeah, is it going to be slippery? Probably, But yeah, make him clean it up, right? That's the consequence, right? Now you have to clean it since you made the mess, and move on. It's not a DEFCON 5 situation where we need to bring in the army of turtles or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know. Um, Thanks, seclusion. Yeah, it's important. Prayers for all of you out there. It's especially hard when you lose a child. Yes, I agree, and I mean it is. It's I arguably one of the worst things that could happen. Mama Bear says my son is addicted to both alcohol and drugs, and he uses that K-shite. Oh, yeah, falls asleep standing up. And last time literally fell asleep in the street. He was in and out of jail and rehab. Oh, Mama Bear. My goodness. Yeah, and it's just hopefully he will maybe spend enough time away and realize how much better it is to like have a clear mind, you know? Um, Oh gosh, I'll be praying for that to happen for you ladies. Aw, thank you. Kai Kai says that, oh, thank goodness we all feel comfortable speaking our truths here in chat, lady. It's because of you that we feel seen and important. Thank you. Oh, that was so sweet. I really appreciate that. Um, aw, gosh, you guys are just trying to make me cry over here worse than I already was. Oh, this poor Jaden, guys. And life is so hard just to add to it. It really is. Holly S says, Lady Freedom, our counselor even thinks when a person is in their mom's womb that stresses in her pregnancy can cause so many problems for the child later in life. Yeah, I can see that, Holly S. Absolutely. I think it starts right away. Like, I think that, um, nurturing is really important. Just, to get somebody strong enough mentally to deal with the way that life is, because there's so much out there, like, I mean, you can have, like, even say somebody at school that doesn't like you, and they could really make you feel horrible, right? Or tease you every day, or bullying every day. And, if you're already stressed out and have anxiety, it's going to make it even way worse, right? Than somebody that doesn't, or that somebody's confident or, strong in, mindset. Um, so I agree with that. I agree with that. But it's so difficult because it's like, none of us can live in a bubble, and we almost have to experience tough things in order to become tougher. And I know a lot of you guys, we've talked about that in here. So it's kind of like a balance, but having a strong support system is so important, in my opinion. Kind of really, it just really breeds confidence. I said, no, he's a little guy. Touch him and you'll regret it. Seclusion. Aw, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate you being here. She says, what a great live. I've been listening while driving. Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are here. Like I said, I was hoping to get some day shows going, and wanted to be earlier, but I'm glad I came on when I did, because I didn't miss a whole lot of good stuff that was going on. Cinderella says, my son is going to be 40. He has his own family, and he has not a lot to do with us. Oh, Cinderella, that's so tough because, I think that's why it's so hard when kids are little and stuff, when people are like, well, I can't wait till they're older. But then, when they're older, it's like they have their own lives and stuff, and it's so hard. Well, I'm going to be praying that you guys can mend it, because I know it's tough. It is really tough. Lori, I know, Lori, I know. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, it's just awful, It is awful. It is awful. Hey, little Reddo. It is awful. If you do right, if you do right, they do right. Little Red, that's so important, I think, to recognize too, is that, like, kids model behaviors. So if we're doing something, we can't necessarily say don't do that, and then they're not, and because we're a hypocrite, one. But two, I mean, they're going to look at us and say, well, you're doing it right, and it's working out good for you. Or they'll just learn that behavior, and it'll become normal. Mama Bear says, I do thought, though, this last time after 9 months sober, maybe he'd save his Suboxone strips and take more at a time to get, yeah, it hurts like hell, especially when temps are below freezing. Well, yeah, because, it's scary being out in the elements like that. Oh my goodness. I guess those are supposed to help, but I've heard that, Mama Bear, too, if they're taken, like, you could take too many, like anything, I guess it'd be like anything, but I mean, if you take too many, then, it'll have a different effect, than it's supposed to, just to keep you kind of regulated, so you can kind of stay off of, yeah. Couponing, thank you so much. Couponing says, Lori, it's okay to be sad. You're not the only one. It is so sad. It is so sad. And I didn't give up hope that he might just be someplace out. I mean, like I said, little Claire, she really gave me a lot of hope. Kind of a kick in the rear, like, hey, don't lose hope too quickly. This little one stayed out there for 4 days. But it's just unfortunate. I have hope that someone will confess in Sebastian's case. I do too, Holly S. You know, and especially if we put the heat on, you know, there, I mean, how long can you keep it a secret? How long can you sit with that and carry that burden for? You know, I mean, it would have to eat someone up, you know, unless they're completely and utterly mentally ill. Um, yeah, I don't see how they could just allow for that to go on and go on and go on. Yeah, and that I agree with this too. Little Redo says Cinderella sounds like what we would do. No reason to lay your hands on a child. Look, we realized we forgot to teach something that's not, or that's our fault. Yeah, he did not know. Exactly. Well, in Little Redo, it takes a little bit of introspection too to realize, right, that look, as parents, it's our job to teach them those things. And if we don't, you know, I mean, we're not perfect either, but it's not always on the kid. It's not only on the kid, right? Because it's our job, you know. Thank you, Holly S. As Mama, I'll be praying. And honestly, guys, that's all that we can do, because it's especially in a situation like this when it's extremely sad to think about. It's extremely sad. Any way we smash it, this kiddo has failed big time. Big time. In my opinion, he never should have been in the custody of his mother. And I hate saying that, guys. I really do. Because I know so many of you are such great mothers. I know so many great moms, you know, just friends of mine, or I see them out at the grocery store. I see bad moms at the grocery store too. But, you know, I mean, and you just think, oh, what a good mama, you know, or you see a young girl and you think to yourself, wow, you know, that's our future, and she's doing a good job. Especially when you have your kids young and stuff, you know, because it is harder because you're still growing up too. Um, well, and that's another thing too, Little Redo. I'm so sick of damn bullies, adult bullies, raise bullies, children. Yeah, and they do. I mean, and that's the thing, that they watch it happen, you know, so they kind of understand how to be like that. They learn that behavior as well. I agree. I agree. And then they take it to school, and then they're, you know, and sometimes they're being bullied so bad at home that they're doing it when they get to school, because that's what they've learned too. Like the parents are bullying the kids, and then they go and bully someone at school. Show Poodle says seclusion works indeed, and it sounds so nice. I never thought about that, because I have sit on my hands to stay in chat on Google and YouTube. Show Poodles. I can't help it. Sometimes they just fly right out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh gosh, I just said like 10 swears in one sentence. Oh Lord, you know. I never wanted my children to leave either, Little Red. You know, yeah, you get sad, right? You're like, oh gosh, they're graduating high school, and um, that's why I lived in Missouri longer, for 4 years longer, because she went to school, you know, so close, and I was like, this is a blessing. I can't go yet. Oh, I know. He did have dark circles under his eyes, Mama Bear. I commented on the post about Jaden, saying, zooming in on his face, the circles under his eyes are black, sign of poor health, and believed he wasn't suffering anymore, but with Jesus now, sadly. Yeah, I agree with that too. Um, you know, it really makes you wonder. And I'm sorry, with everything that's happened to him. I mean, look, he deserved much better than what he got. He deserved adults around him who cared more about his feelings than their own, in my opinion. And please don't go after anybody, guys, or anything because of that. I'm just stating it because, look, I'm not up here to advocate for these parents. They need to get their shit together. They do. And none of us are perfect, but get your shit together. Do the right thing. Please, because these kids deserve better. He deserved to be well fed, well taken care of. He deserves to feel safe. And nobody considered his feelings, in my opinion. They did not consider the fact that Jaden just lost his grandma, his caregiver, someone that he felt safe with. You know, his mother knew that if what's being alleged is true, she was taking him to lay to rest with his grandmother. You know, how about you treated him with kindness in his life? How about if you couldn't handle him either, why didn't you call someone to help? Look, he's 10 years old. I betcha there is someone out there that would have loved to take Jaden in. Maybe somebody who didn't have any other kids and could have dedicated time to him. In my opinion, Jaden needed resources. He needed counseling. He needed grief therapy. He didn't need to be shifted around like he didn't matter. No, he did not deserve that. Loretto says, for Jaden, we all know when parents do not help look for their kids, they don't talk, you know what happened. Once again, we are correct. She caused his death. I agree, Little Red. I mean, these are the things that are just, I mean, it just screams guilt, right? In my opinion. It's like you're hiding something. You're absolutely hiding something if you don't want to come out and talk. But they were okay to talk about J.D. Vance all day long. You know, they were okay to get on the news and show their 3 boys and as proud as they can be. What about Jaden? What about her other 2 daughters? I don't see how you could do that. I just don't. Not as a mom, you know. I mean, no offense against dads out there, but maybe because they didn't, you know, carry the baby for 9 months in their womb. I mean, there's a bonding process that goes on right off the bat. I mean, the first time that I ever felt my daughter move, I was like completely astonished. You know, same thing when you hear their heartbeat for the first time. You're like, wow, you're really in there, huh? The pea stick is not lying, you know, and that's when it becomes more real, right? But really, the minute that you find out, you have to change your lifestyle. You can't drink alcohol. I swear, I hear people say, oh, you can have a glass of wine when you're pregnant. I want to smack them silly. Because that's not true. And, you know, same thing goes for any of that. None of that. Just give it up. At least for 9 months so your baby's healthy. Don't smoke cigarettes. You know, give it up. Give it up. It was the same thing when I was breastfeeding. People say, oh, you can have a beer. You can do. Why? What's the point? You know? Have we go pump and dump? No. No, thank you. I'll just refrain for now. You know, you have plenty of life and plenty of time to do those things. But when you're a mom, no more fun and games like that. It makes me wonder, Lil Red. Makes me wonder. I'm holding on to hope. But they are cocky, aren't they? And they really think that they got away with it. The Proud Feet think that they got away with it. They think it's going to go away, too, which I think that they're wrong about that. Prayer Warrior says, Mama Bear, I remember praying many nights, God, just help her survive tonight. I firmly believe as long as there is breath, there's hope. I agree with that completely, prayer warrior. We have to hold on to that, you know, because if you don't have hope, then you're hopeless, and that's when you spiral down and, you feel defeated and stuff. Sociopaths have issues, Lil Redo. Thank you for the reminder. They don't feel what we feel. They don't. They don't feel the remorse. They don't feel like they did wrong, you know. It's like their give a damn is busted really hard, like, from whatever crap they went through, unfortunately. Yeah, they do, Mama Bear. Too many parents take it literally. I brought you into this world, I can take you out. Yeah, and I mean, it's funny to say, ha ha ha, but in the same way, it's like, not that's not serious. Mothers don't have that right. We're supposed to love, nurture, take care of, and you know, then put these kids out into the world and hope that they remember what they were taught, and they do. I believe what Little Retta was saying. I mean, it's like once you teach them, they're going to know that for life. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing, and it's one step at a time, right, Prayer Warrior? It's like, it's just like me with the day shows. It's like I'm gonna get it eventually. But Prayer Warrior says, I've been getting a little bit of cleaning in the background here. I love feeling successful, and you do. Even small steps like will make you feel better about the situation, right? Like, you can only take one bite of the elephant at a time. You can't eat the whole thing in one gulp. It's one bite at a time. You know. Little Redo says when our child was throwing away uh, the change, true story, we realized he never saw us use change, and there are bags of change all over the house. He didn't think it had value. Well, I know they're doing away with change in some areas, Little Red. That's funny. Well, and it's like you can't possibly remember everything as a parent. It's so difficult. And I mean, I think that my perfectionism kicked in and stuff, and like I had to realize that I'm not going to be able to do everything. And it does take a village. It does take good people around the kids to teach them and be good positive role models, like good teachers, good coaches, good friends of parents, all of that, a good community. Because if a kid grows up in a beautiful household and has all these morals and values, going out to the community is going to be difficult when those are not shared. So it takes a lot. Yeah, I know. Seclusion, I understand. As a kid, I hated the beatings. I swore I never hit a child as an adult, and I found it easier to sit down with the child, explain what they did wrong. It's more effective. I agree. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a conversation. Kids are so smart. Like they are so intuitive. They could feel our energies, and they understand, and they also want to please and are looking for validation, in my opinion. And this idea that kids are just these little monsters out there and they're just wreaking havoc. No, that's not true. They're still learning. It's up to us to teach them how to be the right way and show them by example, lead by example. As soon as I read that Jaden moved into his mom's after grandma passed, I expected an outcome like this, in my opinion. Yeah, I was very well, and you guys saw the reaction of Mom and Up and I in real time, because we were like presenting the case and just kind of going over what we knew at the time, which, was basically, excuse me, like 1 or 2 days in, and kind of gathering information, and then Kiki sends us the Facebook post about him moving in with his mother after his grandmother passed, and we were both like, okay, something is wrong, and that's not a good sign at all, right? I mean, talk about a big red flag. But Also, it's just, these signs and patterns that we've seen. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, ugh, it's so sad and feels like you're missing a part of your heart when they grow up and move out. Exactly. Oh, yeah, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. And, like, that's why I'm always keeping tabs on my daughter. Oh, she told me she went camping. I was like, I saw you were in a different location. But it's just my way of, like, still feeling like I know what's going on. But of course she tells me, Mom, I was camping, and we check in, and that's the thing. I mean, but it is so hard. I wish I could go back to when, she was little, or I might be talking with, a friend on the phone, and I'll hear the little ones in the background. And I'm like, oh, you're so lucky, to have them. So, lady, are those Kobe's who is around the lad? Oh, okay. So yeah, in the bottom, the women starting is his mom that has the mugshot, and then his two aunts are in the middle, and then his grandma is in the red shirt. And I'm not sure if you can see so well, but yeah, those are the ladies, and then Joshua Gross is the stepfather. And now he's not been named. The only one who's been named is his mom. So, well, yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, people do let their kids run all over the place, and they're hollering and, shouting all over, and I know anybody would have taken. I just think he would be just such a joy to have, Little Red. He would need a protective bubble around him to heal. No one thought about his feelings, Seclusion. No one, in my opinion, they were not thinking about Jaden's feelings and about how, what he needed to heal. Absolutely. He needed someone to love him first and help him navigate life. Amen. 10 years old, I just think back to when I was 10 years old. I just think back and I think, I mean, you absolutely need people in your life, and I can think of those good people like teachers and, family members and good friends. And it's kind of hard though to make new friends, especially, or to keep friends when you're getting bounced around. Thank you, Gigi. Yeah, it's just so sad. I don't know. See, this is what is frustrating to me, Cinderella. Why didn't the aunt just take him to CPS, right? Or at least call and say, hey, look, I have this child. Like, I mean, I feel like people do a better job trying to rehome an animal than they do with this poor baby. Like, I'm sorry. It is so frustrating to me because I just think of it like this. All right, I get it. You're stressed out. You have this young man. You're okay with taking care of the sisters, but you're trying to find somewhere to put this young man. I would be doing some research. I would be calling social services. I would say, look, I can't take this little boy. I wish I could, but I'm going to need help with him. And maybe they could have gotten her some resources, or hell, maybe even Jaden could have started counseling services and he would have been able to cope better with whatever he was dealing with. But instead, they put him in the hands of his mother, who has obvious history and should never have her, should never have had him back. Yeah, Holly S, I'm telling you, some of these ladies do think this way. And I'm like, no, because you see the effects of the fetal alcohol syndrome. We were talking about that last night, too. And it's like, my Lord, my oldest went to Catholic school, says Holly S, till fourth grade. And the moms were big believers that wine pregnant is fine. Ooh, yeah, no. No. Not all, but many of them. Yeah. Oh, I'm genuinely worried about the daughter, too. Well, and that's the thing, I mean, It is tough, Miss Ann. Yeah. And it's like you want to help, but understanding that there's young parents out there, that would love to have Jaden as, that have the time, say it's a single mom and they only have one kiddo. I mean, that's someone that would be a good foster family for Jaden and at least get him to where he feels safe and loved and wanted again, right? Because I can't imagine how unwanted he must have felt. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to feel bad or sugarcoat it for the aunts. I'm not. They made the wrong decision here and they needed to consider how it was going to affect Jaden, not affecting themselves. And even Lisa B always was saying that last night, because I said, maybe did she think that there was enough sober time under the mom's belt and because she had these other 3 boys and, Lisa B's like, hey, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, you know what? You're so right. There is really no excuse for it. Yeah, organized religion can be a little much. Well, and it's like, what one person's doing is okay, but standing up and being like, no, that's just not okay. That's hard to do when you're in a group like that, and it's like, no. And honestly, it's not, I think it's more important the child's health and their development than it is for somebody to, have a glass of wine. Oh, amen. Kai Kai says, there's so many families that would have loved to have Jaden. Anyone would have adopted him. There are so many families that cannot get pregnant, rounds and rounds of IVF, and still they don't have, yeah, I agree. Still, they don't have any children. And, it's so sad. It's so sad. And there's even been fertility clinics that have been like completely washed out. So even if they did have like frozen embryos and things like that, I mean, could you imagine how devastating? But then what a gift it would be to have a child like Jaden come into your life, I mean, I don't know. Hey, Scranton. Yeah, I came on early and then we had breaking news about little Jaden Spicer. Aw. I was just telling my husband how I slept on the couch for 20 years so I knew when he got home. Yeah, and see, those are the labors of love and things like that. That's what makes it so unbelievable when we hear a story like this. It just really is. It's okay, Lori. No, you don't have to get your shit together, girl. They do. It is. It's so tough. It's just wrong. Like, I just can't, there's no justifying it. No justifying it. It's so sad. Yeah, it is easy for emotions to get carried away with themselves, says Cinderella. It's the truth. Yay, seclusion made it home. I meant to tell you safe travels. I saw that you weren't driving, but you were riding. Scranton says, do we know what happened to him? Did Ellie find him or did someone confess? Yeah, so Scranton, his mother apparently confessed, and we're still waiting for an official statement, but it's been alleged that she confessed to taking his life and then burying him near his grandma. So she's apparently en route with the police right now to show them, she's in custody. So we're just kind of waiting on the official, and I'll have that tonight if it comes through. Yeah, Holly S says, oh, my son could detect a tiny micro change in my expressions. It's amazing how in tune they are to us. And I think it is because, obviously we raise them, but it's more than that. It's the bond. I think, Holly S, and kids are always seeking approval and validation. They just are. They're not over there like, oh, how can I really tick my parents off today? I mean, unless something bad happened, Prayer Warrior says, how can you not consider your child's feelings? I don't get it. Lori says, I will never understand how a mother could do this to a child she brought into this world. I know. And to have the second chance of having him back, you think you would try everything. You think that you would get yourself into counseling if you even had a moment where you were feeling so overwhelmed like that. Because even with the aunts, I think that they needed counseling services. Don't blame Jaden, for crying out loud. There was a reason why he was at his grandmother's house, Little Red. Great point. Great point. And that's what worried me from the beginning, as we were saying before. Children are such a blessing. Children are such a blessing. Oh, Adam Montgomery, Little Red? Oh, boy. Well, he's asking for his murder conviction to be overturned. Yeah. Mr. Teardrop Tattoo himself thinks that he deserves that. And then, Harmony's body is still out there missing somewhere. What a monster. I mean, and how selfish. I mean, we just really see that diabolical narcissist at play at work, Holly S. says those therapies take time, energy, and money. And if you don't have a perfect insurance, I don't think some of these parents want to make the effort. Yeah, you got it right there too. There's a lot of factors in there too. Now, I know that there's some resources out there that will some therapies that will work with you on a sliding scale, which is good, but still, that still takes out of your budget for the month. And who knows if you have that, you have that type of money to be spending. And then with no insurance, Holly, that's such a good point, and another, way to feel compassion for the situation, because it's not easy. He had no time to adjust, Holly. They gave him no time to adjust. That's the one thing that really is upsetting. And like I said, I just can't overlook it, especially not with what's happened to him. Yeah, that's a good point too, Little Reddo. Some parents don't want little itty bitty babies. They want to take on a child who that they can help. And 10 is a good age, I think. I mean, yes, he's had a lot of going on, but that doesn't mean you can't turn around the situation. Oh, amen. Scranton says, my kids are the beat of my heart and the air in my lungs. I could not imagine ever hurting them. No, you just want what's best for them, right? And you try not to imagine anything ever bad happening to them, right? Because it just hurts and makes you sick, and it's just all of that. Yeah. Never, ever, ever. No. And then heaven forbid someone else hurts them. But we've been hearing all these stories about where other people are hurting the kids too, and the parents are looking the other way. There's abuse in the house, and the kids are, like in Sebastian's case. I'm sorry, but I believe that he was being physically abused by Chris Proudfoot and or Katie. I haven't really figured out whether she's involved in it or not. But in my opinion, if you're the other adult in a position of trust in the household and that child's mother biologically, it's up to you to stand up for that and to get your child out of the situation. And again, it's not easy, but Katie had a job. She had a car. She had, apparently the house is under her name, and from what I've heard. But, at the end of the day, it's do whatever it takes. Aw, Scranton. My son was my fourth pregnancy, and my daughter was my 8th pregnancy. They're my miracle babies. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on Mother's Day, I text my daughter, I wouldn't be a mama without you, Yeah, and their babies come. I know. See, Miss Ann, and then they're addicted when they're first born. Even with cigarettes, I even think of it like that. And I know that it was different back in the day, guys. I'm not trying to shame anybody, but I mean, even then, because think about it, that's one of the hardest things. I cannot quit smoking. I've tried and tried. I mean, I did when I was pregnant years and years ago, but I mean, in the last, whatever, 20 years, I've been smoking, and it's really, really hard. And then I get irritable if I don't have one. And so think about a baby just fresh into the world feeling that feeling. And of course they're going to have issues in that regard, even with a cigarette, even with nicotine addiction, so it's even the most minute of things. They cheated the world out of a great human. Amen, Holly S. Little Redo. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We're getting cheated left and right. Our future is being taken. Who is going to run the planet? Jaden could have been the one to make the difference. He could have been the one to break some scientific discovery. He could have cured cancer. He could have done anything. He could have been a good friend and a father, at the very least. But they robbed him of that chance. Oh, Little Redo says she said she gave him overdose of sleeping meds. Man. Poor Jaden. And I have to point back to what Mama Bear said. Look at his little eyes with the dark circles. I can't imagine just having trouble sleeping like that. Poor little boy. Holly, I didn't mean to laugh. You make me laugh with your emojis there. My mom drank with Mia. Was in the 70s, and we didn't know. I'm okay, but 4'11". Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, just like smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. I even asked my mom one time, "Did you quit with me?" And she's like, "No." I was the first one. She did with my sister, so that's good. But they used to crap, you'd go in a doctor's office and people be smoking cigarettes in there, making you a martini while you wait. It's like, oh Lord, but we get better, right? Not to quote Oprah, but I mean, she says something like, if you know better, you do better, or when we know better, we do better. And that, I believe that, if you don't know, then you don't know, right? You're ignorant to it, and it's not really your fault. But once you know that, it's, and also they glamorize the crap out of smoking cigarettes, and things like that too. And even drinking, it's like, oh, you're cool, and you're in the mix or whatever. So yeah. Exactly, Scranton. And well, that's the thing. I mean, too, I can't imagine going through a miscarriage or something like that, and it's got to make you realize that kids are a gift from God. It sounds like it came kind of easy to this mom, for her to have, I called her Fertile Myrtle yesterday, but I mean, I was just, because I was like, good Lord, woman, you got a lot of kids, and that's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? But it's absolutely got to make you more grateful. Yeah. Oh, perfectly imperfect boy. Mom says it's crazy how kids know. My sons know when I need a hug without me saying a word, and have even said, "Mama, you're stressed, aren't you?" Oh, etc. Exactly. They know it. Even if you're hiding it, even if you go in the bathroom and cry, you know what I mean? They know somehow. And they're like, can I give you a hug? Yeah, kids love their parents unconditionally. That's one of the tall tale signs of a child who has been brainwashed or parental alienation. That's a tall tale sign of it. Hey, little Miss Sharon. Is that the kids will go against the parents, because even kids that have been abused don't go after their parents like that. They don't want them to get in trouble. They love them. They care for them. They want them to feel better. It's amazing, really, if you think about it. It's amazing. because it's really the purest form of unconditional love, you know. And it always amazes me too. You hear these parents that say, well, I had my kids because I wanted someone to love me. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Kids need more love than they give out. I mean, and babies do too. So for someone to say, you know, that they had kids because they wanted someone to love them, it's, in my opinion, you're setting yourself up for failure. And the kids too. Aw, see, yeah, Lori, I mean, you know, and that's the thing. It's just got to make you so much more grateful and understand that, you know, gosh, life is so precious. It really is. I think the ants seem like goofballs too. I think they were very nervous, Holly, you know, and that was my big thing with them. I'm like, you know, were they involved? Do they have guilty knowledge? What's going on? You know, because they were not emotional, which, you know, again, there could be reasons behind it, but yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kai Kai says, in no way am I advocating for KP. Never would. Uh, but it took Felicia Spicer a week to tell LE where Jaden is, and here we are almost a year and a half later. Yeah, absolutely. Adam's a monster troll. I agree. Yeah, Lori, enjoy your dinner, honey. I'll be back on tonight. We'll do some updating tonight. I just wanted to do a quick show tonight, but I mean, there was so much going on that I didn't realize. Hey, Pebbles, good to see you. And I know it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking to deal with this, and to know that, like, these things happen. I don't know. There you go. Exactly, prayer warrior. I tried to do the patch, and I'll tell you what, like, it gave me some weird dreams. It was really strange, but progress is good. I've even tried vaping before, but I could never find one that, you know, was comparable. I don't know. I need to look into it again, though. Um, hmm. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you know, oh, Maddie too. Oh, I can't with Mr. Stearns. Like, that guy is a ugh. Mm, I just can't with that. Oh, it's just awful. I don't know. That's what I'm Scranton. See, this is where I'm at with this. Like, I don't know for sure if she acted alone or if the dad wasn't, you know, this Josh Gross was involved. We don't know yet, but apparently she's taking the fall for it. If it, you know, that's what it seems like to me. But I'm wondering because, I mean, that small of a trailer, everybody in the household had to have known. Like, say because Little Red said that she had heard that he was given too much sleeping medication and he OD'd. So, but everybody would have known in the morning, right? Because if you didn't mean to give him that much medication, and then, you know, unless they meant to do it and then they took him someplace, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a small trailer they live in, so everybody had to have known. It's extremely difficult, Holly. Yes, that's a really good point. I don't mean to be a know-it-all, but they all realize how hard it is to kill someone with sleeping medications. In my opinion, it's difficult. It's very difficult. You know, I wonder if they sedated him, and you know, the autopsy is going to show what happened to him. He's going to tell us what happened to him. He's going to tell us whether she wants to, you know, because you know how it is when people confess. It's just like that mom that we watched confess for little James Hutchinson's murder. You know, she said, "Oh yeah, you know, I did do it," and stuff like that. But, you know, she changed her story so many times, and she told half truths, and it's just so hard to tell. Oh, well, that's nice, Miss Ann. I know. Yeah, and I know that God takes care of the little children. I know. It just breaks my heart, that he didn't have that kind of love on earth. Yeah, I agree with that. Scranton says Seth believed that's what happened to Sebastian in the beginning. Not sure if he still feels that way, but I can see it. He's overstimulated. She wants him to settle so she could talk to CP, and she gave him too much. I can see it. I mean, Scranton, I can't discount that still to this day. Honestly, I can't, because I do wonder what it would take for a mom to take the life of her son, right? Um, and I will say that it just seemed like she was indifferent to Sebastian, and that she didn't want to even, sit there with him at the table, you know, putting, tossing the menu over like he's a second class citizen. Um, yeah, I could see that. Jesus needed him more, Cinderella. Yeah. Oh, my Lord. I don't know. It's so sad. So sad. Oh, use golden tobacco. This is what I found comparable to Marlboro Light. Okay, well, that would work. I'll have to check it out because I would like to quit. They do. Holly S says the ants remind me of the Siamese cats on the Disney movie. Yeah, like a little mischievous, right? Like they know more information, but they don't want to say it. And then the one is saying one thing and the other says, yeah, yeah, And I'm like, oh boy. You know, it was like they got their story straight because they realized that they messed up at some capacity, whoever was responsible for Jaden, you know. I think the sisters. I think from my understanding, the one is a sister and the other is a sister-in-law. So the girl in the glasses is a sister-in-law, and then the Samantha is the one in the Kentucky shirt with the blue on it, and that's Samantha, and then Shy is the sister-in-law. If the OD was an accident, which I feel she will say, they then why did she not call 911 or go directly to a hospital? See, this is a big one that was asked too, to Brittany, uh, James Hutchinson's mom. If you thought that you ran him over or that you dragged him in the car, why didn't you go back and check on him and at least call 911 and get him, some medical attention? That's a great point. If the OD was an accident, and I think that she will say that as well, you know, she should have called 911 right away, straight away. Shouldn't have been a thought or anything in her mind. It should have been automatic. Hey, momming it up. Good to see you. Did you hear the news? Oh my goodness, girl. Oh, good, prayer warrior. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. I mean, and I like to swim and stuff like that, and I could definitely tell it slows me down. It slows me down, and I don't like that because, it's not good. And we want to be around for things, as long as we can. I mean, it's inevitable, but oh yeah, little Miss Sharon, I forget. I always forget what time it is there. The Texas Roadhouse video is utterly horrible. It is. It is. So little Miss Sharon, Jaden Spicer, they did find his body today, earlier today, and it's been said that he may have been given too much sleeping medication, and I don't even know what that is. Like what kind of sleep meds? What were they? Because I don't. Can you even OD on Ambien or like any of those? I don't know. See, I mean, I've taken sleep aids before. I'm gonna tell you, it knocked me on my butt. you know, just knocked me on my butt. So I can't imagine giving these babies that stuff. I mean, I don't know. You can't OD on melatonin, can you? I mean, that's like a more natural, safe thing, right? Well, and that's it too, Prayer Warrior. That's a good point. I wonder if she's been medicating him regularly with the bags under his eyes. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. A lot of those sleep aids, they'll make you groggy all day. You know, that's why I don't even take it. I'm like, you know, I'd rather be tired than a zombie, you know? Well, I'm not sure exactly where, but like, here's this little, um, well, it's a Facebook post, but it says sad update on Jaden Spicer today. Apparently, his mother, Felicia Gross, has confessed to murdering him and burying him where the grandmother was buried. Came across the scanner as in custody, taking them to the body now. I pray for I pray for everyone involved in this family, the aunts, everyone who came across too. I'm guessing like anybody who came and helped look. They'll be releasing a statement soon. And then I read one from Facebook. See, Jaden Spicer News. All right, this one. Heartbreaking update in search for 10-year-old Jaden Spicer. Breathitt County Coroner Hargis Epperson has confirmed that the body of young person has been located on Canoe Road in Jackson. Multiple sources, including 2 relatives, have confirmed the body belongs to 10-year-old Jaden Spicer. And I'm not sure. I'll have to do a little bit of research and find out how far away Canoe Road is from their address. I know they're actually, I believe it is on Panbull Ranch Road. Here's another one. Days after 10-year-old Jaden Spicer vanished from his mother's home in Jackson, Kentucky, his body was found buried in a cemetery by his grandmother. The discovery brought a devastating close to the search that began on August 6th when he was reported missing after last being seen around 9 p.m. the previous night. Some community sources claim his mother, Felicia Spicer, also known as Felicia Gross, confessed to being involved in his death. Though authorities have yet to confirm this, respectful condolences are offered to all who loved and cared for Jaden. Yeah, so, and his aunt did put out, Samantha Brunty put out, please pray, well, she says, please prayer for my family and I, rest in peace, Jaden. I don't know, guys, it's just, these people are really selfish, in my opinion. I'm not trying to, be hateful. I'm really not. I'm not trying to be hateful, but I'm going to tell you what do we pray for Jaden? Okay, not rest in peace, Jaden. Oh, it's over with. Pray for me and my family. I swear to God, I'm sorry. I can't with that. That to me is like, can you spell it correctly? And can you also, say more than that? Like, obviously, Jaden needed better. He deserved better. I'm sorry. It's very apparent to me that these people care more for themselves than they do about this baby. But yeah, I mean, everything's kind of confirming that the mother did this, and you know, buried him by the grandmother. And the grandmother has just passed away too, guys, by the way, recently, like within the last 3 months or so. Yes, little Miss Sharon, this month I'm gonna get it. I've been looking. Thank you. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. That's so sweet of you for that super sticker. Yeah, that way we can pause things and stuff, and I could be showing stuff on the screen too, and not reading off my phone. And oh my gosh, my storage. That is another thing too. My storage, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna hop off of here, and I'm gonna get some stuff gathered up for tonight. We'll probably go live like around 11:30, 11:45. But I'm so glad that I was able to hop on with you guys and talk with you through this. I know it's so difficult, guys. I mean, we have so many beautiful, loving, caring souls in our community, and I mean, I know that it's terrible for you guys. I did want to bring in some light content today, so I'm going to show this, and I hope I make you guys laugh through your tears, okay? So, because I think we need this. I'm in no way trying to be disrespectful to the situation, but these are some news bloopers that I pulled in today. It's just a short clip, just something to make us laugh, because I don't know. But here we go. It's a 4-minute clip.
It was jacket on, jacket off, jacket on, jacket off. Some rain would come.
Right here, back here, at all the time here.
Danny Shaw, who joins us now. Good evening, Daddy. Danny, thank you for being with us. So,
I was just like America doesn't just run on Duncan, cars do too.
For Alex Brown, professionally, this is a chance to demonstrate that she understands what she's doing.
I think, I'm a little bit of a pro, so it's time to level up here. This is a 110. You know what? I think this is enough of an accomplishment. We'll just leave that there.
Where is your spotter, Alex Brown? Cameraman Kenny.
I only do the 20s, all right? Alex, don't be doing the 110s.
Don't be a hero at that, Alex. We'll check it with you later.
There you go, cameraman Kenny helping her out. Whew.
But then that cold front comes through and significantly drops the dew points.
Here are the day's other big stories, starting with, excuse me, that is a big close-up of my mouth, but listen to this.
So here's one model. This one has definitely shifted a bit. So as you head through the rest of the night tonight, you can see.
My butt's wet. Oh my God, it's so wet. Okay.
Oh, is there holes in the bottom? Oh, I thought it had a thing.
No, my butt's wet, but it's fine.
Meanwhile, it's midday and Joe Emer is already under pressure.
Hormel is partnering with General Mills breakfast product Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Sanitize. It's a family show. Flavor is hand-rolled into the slabs of the thick-cut bacon. He's not going to be able to make it. The Black Label Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bacon will be available at Walmart. Yep.
Matt, you interested?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be trying any of that. That doesn't look very good.
A Jacksonville man just won $1 million jackpot from a scratch-off where he bought the winning ticket. That's ahead at 6.
Not the best weather to be flying in, but certainly stormy storms. Stormy weather. That's going to be at the blooper reel.
3. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no, I ain't messing with you. Oh no.
Everyone in McKinney is dead. The temperature, the heat index right now in McKinney is 10,000. What is that? 101,105. It's hot in McKinney.
Back up in Zealand, it's now nearly time for Joshua Vincent at the Show and Shine Car Show and Cruise.
Annual Zealand.
We are live here. Oh.
Josh, I think you are so fantastic. That combination of that white car, so good. Well, this weekend, the 28th annual Zealand Show and Shine Car Show and Cruise event kicks off. With 200 cars lined up throughout downtown Zealand, that is where we find our 13 on your side's Joshua Vincent for a preview this morning. Josh, take it away, my friend.
Was what I was supposed to do, but yeah, that's right, Meredith. Coming up right after the break, I'm going to tell y'all you can see hundreds of vintage cars just like this Corvette right here in downtown Zealand. Stick around. It's 6:44 and you're up with 13.
Okay, guys, I just had that kind of little clip for us to watch earlier, and I didn't realize we were going to have all of this breaking news to talk about with Jaden Spicer, but we're going to be back tonight to talk more. Oh, thank you so much. Deanna says that there's going to be a press conference at 8:30 Eastern. Okay, fantastic, guys. Yeah, and I'll try my best to get that pulled in. I have to pull off some of this stuff off of my my phone too to kind of get the memory down. But I will see you guys later. I just wanted to show you that funny blooper reel. It really made me laugh. You know, I hadn't seen some of those. Some of them I've watched before, you know, like on a short. Thanks, Prayer Warrior. But just something to lighten the mood. I know, guys, it's so tough. You know, let's just say prayers for justice for Jaden Spicer, for the truth to come out. You know, same thing. You know, goes for Sebastian. I mean, every day. And I also am going to be working on some things for that as well, in terms of how we can really, you know, turn up the heat, public pressure. I'm going to be thinking of ways to do it because it's really, really important that we do. So I love you all so much. I will see you guys tonight on The Late Show. Thank you for being here, guys. I really appreciate you.